Hi, and welcome to another episode of Talk on the Wild Side, where we are diving into the greatest treasures of all, friendship. I want to start by introducing my beautiful friend, someone who embodies authenticity and the kind of connection that makes life richer. My friend, my pal, my family, my sister, Miss Amy.
Hey guys, hey. I was glad you said my name. Oh, this is the intro for me. What an honor. I love you
too. And I'm her co-host, Kat, and we're going to talk about friendship. Friendship is more than just having someone to pass the time. It's about feeling truly seen and valued. It's about trust, laughter, shared experience, and sometimes that hard lessons of what makes or breaks a great relationship. Today, we're sharing personal stories, exploring the red flags in relationships, and unpacking what it truly means to be a good friend. The journey of friendship. We all have that first childhood friend, the one who shaped our earliest experience of connection. But as we grow, so does our understanding of friendship. Some relationships stand the test of time, while others reveal hard truths. We also touch on friendship red flags. It's not just for dating anymore, it's for friendships as well. The one we often ignore, we shouldn't. Whether it's the friends who never listen, consistently gossips, or takes more than they give. Knowing what to look for can save you from toxicity.
Toxicity.
Yeah. On the flip side, we'll explore what makes a great friendship. What are the key traits? What should you look for in others? And more importantly, how do we show up as good friends ourselves?
Yeah, that's a lot of unpacking we're going to do.
That's a lot of unpacking, yes. Making friends as adults. Many people feel that making friends as adults is nearly impossible, but here's the good news. You're not alone in that feeling, and it's absolutely possible to build meaningful connections. I recently heard a powerful insight from the Mel Robbins podcast, not sponsored. The best friendships of your life are still ahead of you, not behind you. That is reassuring in that.
That is reassuring.
Yes. Mel Robbins breaks friendships down into 3 core principles, which we could get into later. It's proximity, 2 is timing, and 3 is energy. You know, how much time you're around the person, if you see them like at the gym or at church, and how much time, like that's proximity. And then the timing is like what time they are in their life. Like, are they in the same, like, do they have grown children or do they have smaller children? I mean, do your lifestyles kind of match up?
So stages.
Yeah. And then you have your energy. How does this person make you feel? Are they uplifting or draining? So we'll talk about that. If you're struggling to form connections, small changes can make a big difference. Start by learning people's names at places that you frequent. Make eye contact, smile, say hello. The small moments create an investment for friendship.
Yeah, I love that.
So we're going to dive on in, and I got some questions for Amy, and I'm going to try to respond to them too.
Oh yeah, because this is a boomerang situation here.
Yes.
What goes around comes around.
Yes. So my first question to you, who was your very first childhood friend and what made that friendship so special?
Okay, so I was thinking about that because when we were preparing for this show, we all have a friend, right? At some point. Jesus has called us to do life with others, and he places other people around us. And for me, I didn't really grow up, I guess, playing with other kids that I recall as a young kid. But there were also me and 3 sisters. So my sisters were almost like my friends because they were there and they're who I played with. But so I would say outside of my home, my cousin was probably my first friend.
Oh, okay.
And we were very close in age. She was born on August 9th, and I was born on September 6th. So we were like right at a month apart in age. And my grandparents had visitation rights of me. So every other weekend I would go to my grandmother's. And I don't remember how old I was. I was probably around 8 or 9 when my grandparents got visitation rights of me. And so Jennifer, that's was my cousin's name. She would always try to get her parents to bring her over, even if she couldn't stay the night, but to at least come over and play while I was going to be there. And so I always looked forward to the times that she could come over and get to play. And we just had like some of my best childhood memories. My grandparents had horses, so I got to grow up like on a farm.
Do you ride horses?
I don't have access to them, but I would love to ride a horse.
Have you ever been on one?
Oh yeah, I used to ride a bareback.
Oh wow!
So,
oh wow!
Yeah,
I have a swayback horse up there. He's old.
Oh, I'd feel bad if
Yes.
when they're real old and I get on them. I feel bad for them.
Yeah, no. He's more like a pet. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
But I had a pony when I was little. Like my grandparents were able to, they said it was my pony, but they sold my pony. So I was like, is it really my pony?
Oh.
But yeah, my pony was Patches. It had like one blue eye and one brown eye. I would remember to get on because you have to enter a horse on a certain side. Like, these are things I would have never known.
Yeah.
And so it was always on the brown eye. Like, you go to the brown eye side to get on the horse. And, so I learned how to ride with the mane and, like, how to control the horse without having bridles and all of those things. And so I used to love riding horses. But they had a 4-wheeler. So we got to, like, just play on the land. And she was one of those people that she was just a beautiful person, like just physically she was beautiful. She grew up and just the older she got, the more beautiful she got. And I don't know necessarily what happened because my life was such a hot mess and I was going through all kinds of different types of abuse, and my grandparents were like where I went to actually experience like some kind of normalcy and be a child. And for her, it was almost like she had what looked like the perfect life on the outside. And she was like experimenting with drugs by the age of 12. And so like cocaine, like hard drugs.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she ended up on heroin, and when we were 19 she was in a car wreck and it took her life. So she was also my first loss that I experienced in my life as well. So it was really hard to lose her because she was like that best friend for me as a child. And I just, on the outside, it was always hard for me to understand why she was so unhappy and what she was trying to escape from, when to me, her life looked so good on the outside looking in. Her parents took me in when I was going through a sexual investigation with my stepfather, and I ended up living with them for almost a year. And so I stayed with her, and I was 13 at the time. And so I got to like live with her and be a part of her family. And it was just, to me, like that was my dream. And I just never understood how she could be so unhappy when she had such a life that looked like what I wanted so much. And so I never try to judge anybody by the life that they live, because I've been on the flip side and I've lived behind a book cover that looked good. And it was like a terrible story happening. But I've seen her and other people who on the other side of that look like their story should be beautiful, and it looked great, but it still was something that just never could be feeling. So, yeah. So it was, I would say my cousin was probably my first childhood friend, my first friend I made in life.
Your first friend that you made in life.
Yes.
That's nice. It's nice and sad. I'm glad that you got the childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad that, how it turned out.
Yeah, it is. And drugs are, like that's just such a terrible, terrible thing. And I've also lost another cousin to drugs
Like
too.
a slow suicide. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like even with the drinking and stuff, like on my end, I feel like I was just slowly poisoning myself. But that's another episode.
It's a good way to look at that. Yeah. We are going to touch on this one.
Yeah, we are going to talk about addiction. We're about to get.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to flip it around on you. And now you answer the question. Who was your first friend?
Well, that's a little bit more of a difficult question for me because as a child, from as long as I can remember, and we moved around so much that I would make friends and I was constantly telling them goodbye. And, just like when you're getting like right into the meat of it, like when things are going good, like I really like this person, I want to spend more time, would be up and moving again. But from some of the places we stayed a little bit longer than usual in some places. And I have a few that really stuck with me. And the earliest one that I can remember was when I was 11 years old. I met a girl. I'm just going to say her name is Natasha because, and I was living in Toronto at the time. And I don't know, we just hit it off instantly. Even though we were 11, we were really young and innocent. And I remember there was a boy. Okay, we lived across the street from each other. And there was a boy that lived in the apartment complex across the street. He was kind of cute. He's 15, he was the cute boy, whatever. But me and Natasha, we wanted to play with our dolls. We went to play with our Cabbage Patch Kids.
Right.
We were still playing dolls at 11, okay? I mean, I know that's not the thing anymore, but that's what we did. And so we would like smuggle our dolls across the street to each other's house so we could play with our dolls. And it was always like a mission, try to sneak away from Benji. But Benji would always try to catch us and be like,
now, who is Benji? Is this a dog or is this the 15-year-old?
This is the 15-year-old boy.
Oh, okay.
Benji, yes, that's his name. But anyway, yeah, so...
He was hateful to your dolls? So you had to hide him?
He was picking on us.
Oh, okay.
Being bullied was a very common thing for us all the time.
They always said that if someone was giving you a hard time, that they liked you back then.
Man, well, then everybody must have loved me.
Who wouldn't?
But anyway, Natasha was in my life. We were both birds of a feather, I guess. We were both only children. We both had mothers that kind of just stayed hidden and in their own little world. And also, we were just very, we had to take care of ourselves. And so we had a connection and it was a sweet friendship. It was only like 6 months long. But we made the most of it. I mean, we watched movies being filmed. We watched Police Academy. We got all their autographs. We would go for walks and we'd go on adventures. And don't do this, kids, if you're listening. We would break into abandoned buildings, yes, at age 11. And we'd go scare ourselves and walk into the buildings. We probably shouldn't have been in there.
With your dolls in tow?
No dolls in tow with this one, just in case Benji showed up. But I mean, we did everything. We had such a great friendship. And then my mom said that we were moving away and I had to say my goodbyes and I left, I tried to find her, but I just couldn't, I couldn't get it. I have no idea.
Natasha, if you're out there, Kat still loves you.
I still love you. Yes. I think I could probably, if I searched really find her, so that might be something.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had many good friends throughout the years, but that was my earliest one that really benefited me.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. So what are some qualities you look for in a great friend?
Oh.
And then on the flip side of that, what are some red flags that make you cautious? Okay, let's start with, let's tell me what to you makes a good friend. What qualities do you look for?
So honestly, I don't even know if, I want to answer this and be very transparent without sounding like a jerk. Something like popularity used to be a big thing when I was in school because there were cliques, and I'm sure there were still cliques, and I know there's cliques in church, there's cliques in gyms, like there's cliques almost anywhere you go.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think I just never really felt like I was prominent enough to fit in any certain place. I wasn't smart enough to hang out with those people, and I wasn't rich enough to hang out with those people. And I wasn't wild enough maybe to hang out with certain people. So I never really felt like I belonged to anywhere. And I think I just always tried, because life was so rough for me, I think at home, that I always just tried to be nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like maybe not everyone was being treated nicely all the time. And so I don't know that I ever really felt like it was more about me. I think I was really always more worried about how everybody else felt that I came in touch with. Like I just never wanted to be mean to anybody or to hurt anybody. And it's really funny because I guess I've been codependent as a child, and you don't really think about I mean, I know that that's something that we pick up and carry along the way somehow. It's like a learned behavior, but it's crazy that I look back and realize like I was very codependent from such an early age, already worrying about pleasing other people, and their thoughts. So, I mean, I always wanted, of course, people to like me. I don't necessarily know that if it were to be popular or if it was just because I had such a fear of, if you didn't like me, like it would eat at me, like, what did I do wrong to you? Why are you mad at me? Why wouldn't you like me? Because I've tried to make you feel so good and so loved, Like it was almost like I'm a fixer, and I just would take it so personal. And it was just almost to me like, if somebody likes me, then they like me. And if they don't, then, like, I don't know what I did, and I might question it, but I just would probably move on. And I don't really know that I had a lot of friends. I don't necessarily know that I had a lot of friends. I don't know. So now, like, as an adult, I have made friends with people. I've made some really bad choices of friends. And so the things I thought looked good, I've learned that they're not always good. And I've really learned that I would rather have quality instead of quantity. And if I can just have 2 or 3 people that really allow me to be me, and I'm allowed to let them be them, and we can jive well within that, then let's go. Like, you can be my people. And if it doesn't work out, then that's okay. I'm learning, like, I don't have to fit in everybody else's box, that I wasn't made to fit in everyone else's box. And just carrying the weight of, do people like me? Am I able to fix them? Am I pleasing them? It's exhausting. And it's really, I just had so many walls up around me in life that I just don't necessarily know. I have a lot of people that I like, and there's a lot of people that I would say, yeah, they're my friend. I love them. Or, like I like a lot of people. There's not a lot of people I don't like. But to actually like be in my friend circle now, I think it's just, you have to not gossip. That is like one of my really red flags. I cannot stand it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, and for some reason, it makes me feel so gross, and I just can't.
It does. It's got an icky feeling to it.
And I can't be in situations that feel icky to me.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yes, I understand exactly.
And I'm not putting my peace in compromised situations anymore. Yeah. So if I feel yucky, I might be like, oh, this is not good or not yucky, but I'm not going to stay here for very long, because I'm in charge of what I do.
Yes.
And it's just like, I've learned the older I get, I think where they're like the gray hairs and the wisdom come in. It's like, wow, I don't know why I used to think I had to stay here. Like, why did I just put up with this?
Codependency.
Yes, for so long. Mm-hmm. And so I might be harder to love or like now from other people, because there's certain things that I'm just not willing to compromise.
Yeah.
anymore with.
And that's okay because, life is short here. You might as well give your friendship to the people who really deserve it.
Well, I think it's finding myself.
Yeah, that is a big part of it too.
And learning to love myself and learning to know it's okay that I have boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like I can be friendly to anybody, but that doesn't mean I have to bring you home. I don't have to do life with you. And it's not even that you're not worth my time or my friendship. It's just that there's some maturing maybe that needs to happen on someone else's end. And it's not that I'm cutting people off, but if I try to help or you ask me for advice or, and I'm trying to help and it's not, my fuse is a little bit short too. And I'm just not trying to fix people anymore. I just used to try to fix so many people.
It's out of our control.
It's out of my control. I'm only able to help myself right now. And I can help point other people towards Jesus. Hopefully I can love like he loves.
Yes.
And through that, hopefully that helps point people towards him. But I just don't necessarily know. This has been a really hard question to answer, I think, and I'm probably not doing a good job of answering it.
You're doing an excellent job.
But yeah, I just don't necessarily know that I'm out looking to make new friendships, if that even makes sense. If someone comes along and it happens, I'm like, wow, thank you, God, for enriching and blessing my life with this friendship.
Yeah.
But I'm not really it's not like a jar full of rocks that I'm trying to collect.
No, but I really do think that God slammed you and I together.
Yes.
Bam. And then it's like, whoa.
But you know what?
What is taking you guys so long to be friends?
That's what I was going to say. It wasn't something that just bam happened.
I know.
We've
known each other for years.
Yeah.
And we would just say hi.
And I've always loved you and I've always loved your energy. But getting in and to know you, I feel like we both had walls up.
Yeah.
And I've had walls up. And
I definitely had walls up. And I you do it with your face, right? Well, for me, it was my face. I never smiled at people. I'm just if I just stay tunnel vision and don't smile and make eye contact, nobody will come and talk to me. It's so weird because it's totally different from how I've been 6 months ago.
And if I look back, I would have thought that you were more artsy than me, which would, in my opinion, make you more prominent. You're more established. Well, but these are the things that
I know what you're saying.
And even you told me that you thought I was a popular, and I'm over here
I thought she was
I told you.
I thought she was this popular. She was she's the it girl in Portland, and she's a rocker chick that likes to play on her husband's drums.
And I'm telling you, and I'm over here I don't even know that I have any friends, and you think I'm popular, and I'm like, nobody really likes me. So it's kind of funny, the way we perceive other people is usually not even the way the person perceives themselves.
I know.
And so I just love that God has allowed us to see each other into a way that I've always known there's something there that I've loved about you, and I've always loved your energy, but just actually getting to know who you are and what you love and what you don't love and just the way you view things. It's just been amazing. And I am so thankful and blessed. And these are the relationships that I want. And I feel like God gives them to me now.
Yes.
It's because most of the people that are in my life now, though, they are seeking self-help in some way. If it's not spiritual, trying to get closer to Jesus, it's personal. They're trying to heal themselves in somehow, or, and it's not necessarily people that are chasing things, or I don't know.
It's different.
It is different.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just because we grew up a little bit. And found ourselves, and like you said, we set the boundaries and stuff, and so now we know we're not chasing it, but it does fall into our laps now, and it's just some people you can take them, and then others just leave them.
Well, and at the beginning,
but not leave them really.
Well, you know what I mean? And that's saying take it or leave it.
Yeah,
it's And it's okay to leave some things. Like I go to the store, I can't buy everything in the store, right? I take what I need, what I can use.
Yeah.
And things cost so much that
everything in the
right. Everything. Eggs for you, eggs for you. I was like, I remember
blessed with some eggs.
Yes, I remember when eggs was like the poor person food, and now it's like you have to take out a loan to buy eggs.
I think they figured it out. All the stuff that was really nutritious and good for you is like, hey, let's spike it up.
Yeah, they're like, people need eggs. So, but yeah, it's just kind of like one of those things. It's like we take what we need, and it's okay to leave what we don't, and somebody else might need it. It's there for somebody else, and then we might need it later, and God will provide it. It'll be there when we need it. So, but it was like you were saying at the very beginning. I feel like too, I'm in a different stage in my life now. And so now that my children are grown, I have more time for friends. I think I went straight from being out of my home and in with my husband and then starting a family that I had to give all of that my focus. And I was so busy, and I've been such a busy person too.
Yeah.
But it's been really hard and just made really some bad choices in friendships too. But I feel like now I'm at a different place in life to where I can have time for, going out and having dinner, or if I want to go bowling or whatever I want to do.
Just more meaningful relationships too.
Yeah.
That leave you left feeling just, seen and heard and just fulfilled.
Yes.
It's different now.
Yes, It is different. So you answer that because I don't even know what the question.
What qualities do you look for in a great friend?
Oh, okay.
And I think you've covered that. You're just looking for authenticity and, and just,
I guess people just trying to be better.
Yeah.
Better people.
Yeah.
Like
don't come like in a hot mess and being, no. But you know what? Do, because, maybe
yeah.
And then we could be best friends.
But just know it's not my place to fix somebody. If they come to me.
Oh, yeah. Like I can't fix it. Yeah. And I could barely fix myself. Yeah. So
I don't want that job. I'll be like, Jesus can fix you.
Yes. Have you heard about Jesus?
Yes. It's a fun Jesus.
Yes. We can point you in that direction. I guess you could say the quality that I look for in friendship is just honesty. Honesty is like the most important to me. I value truthfulness. Just no shadiness or anything like that. If I feel like something's off or something, I kind of just, I push it to the side or I don't go after it. Yeah, I don't chase it.
You leave that on the shelf.
Yeah, I really had a hard time, because I was always making friends for me was always, I was always the new kid in school. I'm talking like sometimes 2-3 times a year, every year up until like high school. And I was always the new kid at school, and everybody would always want to be my friend for the first 2 days. That was it. Then nobody would talk to me. And I'd be sitting at the table cutting and, eating paste. No, just kidding. Not eating paste, but, sitting over there.
That's what's wrong with you.
But it kind of shaped me for how I made friends, because I always felt like, I guess you could say I was kind of like a chameleon. I was very adaptable and color changing. So when I was in high school in my earlier years of adulthood, I would just kind of be like, I figure you out and I would just fit in. And that was just easy for me. But, it was hard for me to make friends. But what I look for now when I'm older, I look for just the honesty. Just, you can just tell when the calmness is around you. And what was the other part of the question? On the flip side, what are some red flags that make you cautious? Oh, like you said, Amy, I don't like to gossip. I don't like to hear it, and I don't like to spit it out. It's none of my business, and you don't know what anybody else is going through, and I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
That's kind of mean of me. I just kind of cut it off.
Well, I've always heard this too, and I feel like it's true. If somebody spends all their time talking about other people, what do you think they're saying about you when you're not around?
That is absolutely right.
And that goes back to what you said about trust. Yeah. You can't trust someone that's gossiping.
You cannot. No.
So,
And it's like you kind of tell on yourself when you're gossiping,
mm-hmm.
So that's what I don't like. I like eye contact too when I'm talking. If you can't look at me in the eye and talk, I mean, I get it. I used to be shy. I used to have a hard time with it. But then I was like, I tried to look at myself from somebody else's perspective when I'm talking to them and I'm not looking at them. How do I know that I'm reaching you?
Yeah.
You can tell a lot through somebody's eyes. And it's the window to their soul.
Okay. I like that.
So, I mean, eye contact is very important. Matching what they say, that kind of stuff. Like
authentic.
Being authentic. Like, they say like, oh, I love working out and getting up at 5 a.m. and doing all this stuff.
When they're in the closet eating ho-hos behind the scene.
Or they're out all night and they're not actually doing what they, just not matching what they say.
Yeah.
Kind of just, no eating ho-hos in the closet.
Putting on a show. like
phony, I guess.
Yeah, phony. That's a good one.
Yeah. And then, the other red flags, I mean, just anything that kind of makes you question. It shouldn't make you question. Like when I met Amy, at first, I mean, when we started this friendship, this one here a couple months ago, when I finally said, hey, this is my life. And then, I gave her the details and she's like, well, what do you think God is teaching you in this moment? And I was like, I don't know. I just started. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not talking to her again. But we talked about it a little bit more. And she was actually authentic. She was sweet. And that's just who she is. And now that I know her, I understand.
Well, I love that you said that because that is growth on my part to see that I did not try to fix you and I pointed you to Jesus. I was like, I don't know what's up with you, but Jesus can help you.
Yeah.
I do have those kind of hard truths, I guess, sometimes. That I'm not everybody's cup of tea, for sure.
Well, you're definitely my cup of tea because you were just what I needed. It wasn't what that I needed. I needed a true friend. And I haven't had that I haven't had a friend like you in probably 27 years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I have
my husband. That's it.
Yes.
And my kids.
Well, to be a girlfriend kind of friend. Like that's so different too, because the drama parts and the trust that you were saying, like it goes back to some things like where I've said there's been things that have happened where I've made choices and brought people into my life. And then it's ended up not going the way, like, oh, we can talk about that maybe on a question coming up. But
yes,
like to where they were not who I thought they were.
Yes.
But also, what was my intention of that friendship on the back end too? Like just everything wasn't necessarily lined up in a good way either. Yeah. So I can't just blame someone else necessarily because I've also, as I've grown, I've tried to look at what do I play in this? Where are my responsibilities at in this? And it's easy to point a finger at somebody, but we have 3 fingers pointing back to us when we do that.
Yeah.
So I like to take the responsibility and name my own crap because, we all have our own crap too.
Yeah.
And, but I'm so excited. I honestly don't think that I could have spent my time in recovery, my time sitting here talking to you about in these podcasts. I love our Thursday nights when we go and eat and have fun.
Yes.
Like I just love spending time with you. You are a light that I feel like God knew I needed in my life. And I'm just glad that He's placed us into this more intimate relationship. So I do love you.
I love you too. I feel the same. Same girl. #, also me.
Also me. So yeah, it's a lot. And I do have several really great friendships these days. And I think it's like you said, because I've grown up. It's like when babies are babies, we can't just throw a piece of bologna in their mouths, like they would choke on that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot of times like God wants to bless us, but we're not ready, mature enough to handle what He has for us.
Yeah. I think we met at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. It was God's timing. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're fine. So I just, like you were saying, though, like where there's been growth and stuff on my part, I feel like the more we grow, the better or, deeper or meatier things he's able to put in our lives. And it's maybe not necessarily, I think it's better. My life seems to get better as I grow and connect more with Christ. And I think it really, for me, it boils down to having peace. I can have a lot of things. I've had a lot of money. I've had no money. It doesn't matter if I have a lot or a little. There's still been things if my mind's not right that have robbed me of my peace. And I'm just chasing peace anymore.
You don't want to add any extra people that will rob you of your peace.
Oh, no, that's the saying, save the drama for your mama.
Save the drama for your mama.
Yeah, save the drama for your mama. I know. I'm not interested in that at all. So, all right, we got another question.
Oh, yes. Okay. Has there ever been a friend who profoundly shaped your life, and how did they influence you?
Profoundly shaped my life. So, I'm going to give a spotlight to my friend Elise on this one. So Elise we call each other our person. I don't know if y'all are Grey's Anatomy fans out there.
Yes.
So we're each other's persons. Elise was a friend that I met when I moved to Portland when our kids were in elementary school. I don't even know if I was working at the time or not, but the kids were like, Kobe literally had just started kindergarten. And so we had like a kindergartner, I don't know, I think I held Devin back. So probably kindergarten, first grade, and Brooklyn was probably in third grade. Like they were all my kids are close in age.
Yeah.
And so I think pretty sure at this time we were on government assistance. Like we were on the food stamps, the free lunch, we had all of the things. Eric was doing construction. We struggled financially a lot. And I met Elise because where I had time on my hands with the kids, I was going to school doing the accelerated reading program where I would come in and help read to the class. And then I got on the PTO to help, I was like, do something with my time, right? And be there with the kids at school and stuff. So that's what I was doing. And then Elise was also on the PTO. Well, she came in as a president. It was her first year. So they made her president. I came in and I'd never been on a PTO before either. And there was instantly like a line drawn in the sand, because there were already previous PTO people who were mad because a new person came in and was president,
Yeah.
And then I'm coming in and I'm thinking I was a secretary or something. I was supposed to handle like minutes and money. I don't even remember what I was supposed to be doing. And so all I know is I came in and it was a little bit of drama because we were trying to plan this thing and people weren't wanting to come to the meetings. And she was like, they don't want to come because they don't like me. And so then I'm instantly like, oh, I like you. I will help you. Like, how dare them, Like, you're new here too. I'm new here too. So I'm going to connect to the underdog, like the person nobody else, I will be your friend, and that's just how I always have been. And so we were like, we don't need them. And so we were like, we're just going to put on this whole fundraiser ourselves. And we did. I said, I will help you. So we started going out and getting donations. And we did like a spaghetti dinner and had an auction. And we ended up together buying the sign that is out at Clatteriggs Elementary School. Through that, it's still there. The sign for the school is still there. And so, but during all of that time, like I ended up really loving her. Like she was hilarious. She was off the wall. She was inappropriate. I just loved her instantly. And so, she would tell me hard. She's like, the Bible says that iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Well, growing up in abuse, I did not like criticism. And I'm not going to say I love it to this day, but if it's coming from certain people now, I've learned that only certain people will criticize me because they love me enough to help me. They're trying to better me. But it took me some maturing to understand that. And I always saw myself as not smart enough. I'm not enough. And I would cut myself down to where I didn't need other people to do it because I already thought terrible of myself enough. And so I would tell the kids, like, we're broke all the time. And I didn't know Jesus back then.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, like, there's power in our words. And I would just say things all the time.
Yeah.
And me and Eric would always argue. And she was just in the middle of hearing all of my drama. It was drama. And so one day, Kobe had gotten called up to the office. He had a charge for his lunch. And this was like, as we had come off of welfare and we were starting to pay for lunches and stuff, he had a charge, and they had called him to the office, and he threw the little charge slip in the trash, and he told the lady we wasn't paying that. And she was like, she's like, I had to call you because I called Kobe up here to the office over this charge. And he walked over there to the trash and he said, we're not paying this. My mom said, we're broke.
Oh, bless his heart.
And she said, so I told him to take that home to you. She said, but I wanted to call to make sure that he gave it to you because he told me that you were broke. And so I, of course, told Elise about it. And then she was like, you've got to quit telling your kids that you're broke. She said, you got to quit telling yourself that you're broke.
Yeah.
She's like, you have a broke mindset. And she's like, you're living a broke life because you're speaking that. And she's really taught me the power of, like, the words that I make matter. The words that I say matter. And it wasn't just what I was speaking into my life, but I was also speaking like curses and hardships into my children's life too. And so I had to, like, start rethinking and flipping what I was saying. And I would say things like, we don't have money for toys this week. And it was just easier for me to say, we're broke. We're poor. We're poorer kids. You know, like, we're so poor. Quit asking me for toys.
Yeah.
There's 3 of you. I'm outnumbered. I buy 3 toys at $5 each. That is $15. I do not have $15 for toys this week. You know, I'm doing good to pay for your lunch, sir.
Yeah.
So
I know it's so hard. They don't understand. Right?
But over the years, it was like she was always spiritually more mature than me. Like, she had God in her, and I just didn't. And she had, like, her family, and she was also having her children and her marriage. Just everything looked so much different, and she looked like she had her stuff more together. So anytime she would tell me something, I was like, well, I might as well try whatever she's doing because her life looks pretty good. And I'm just sick of all of this struggle. And so slowly, like, and it's probably been more on her end to say, gosh, looking back, we have now been friends. So Kobe was 5 back then. He started school and he was 4. So he was like 5. And he's, 28, 27 now? We've been friends since then. And we both work in fundraising now. Elise ended up buying a fundraising company. And now I work for her and we do fundraising. So it's kind of crazy. I was like 20-something years later.
I love that.
But
and I met her, and she's a great lady.
She's a hoot.
Yes.
Yes. So I would say Elise has really shaped and helped mold me into not only being a better mother, but a better wife and also a better Christian. Like, she, honestly, she didn't, like, lead me to church, but she put God into the equation of my life when nobody else was doing that. Yeah. So she's the one who probably, I would say, shaped me.
I love that. That was a great answer.
Who shaped you?
I would have to go. I mean, there's many people that have shaped me, including you, but I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for a lady named Maureen. And Maureen, she was this amazing lady. She is a Highland dancer, sword dancer, and
sword.
Yeah, like, she would play the swords down and dance on a Scottish dance.
Okay.
And then she was also this amazing ballerina. And I have a thing for ballerinas. I just love to watch them dance. And so, I would clean her house for her about, twice a month for her, and we'd go in, and it was like therapy. She was a little bit older than me. She's my age now. That she's 40, in her late 40s, and I was like, right around 30s, early 30s, and or actually in my late 20s, and I would come to her and I would just talk to her, kind of just, about life. And I never really talked to anybody or just opened up. And I kind of just saw her as a mother figure. And I would just talk to her, and she would stop what she's doing. Nobody's ever done that before. And she would just take a minute and just look at me so I could be seen or heard. Felt comfortable instantly, because I've never had that before. And then she would I would tell her something like, I would be worried about, turning into this person, or becoming, not chasing my dreams, and then she would just ask me, well, why do you feel that way? So she would dig deeper for me, which everybody just kind of listened and be like, oh, you're fine. But she wanted to know why I felt this way. And she was so smart. She was just very logical. I always said, I took dance lessons with her. And I would always say to her, I hate my legs. I hate them so much. They're so veiny. I said, why couldn't I have nice legs? And she would look at me and she'd stop and she'd be like, Kat, your legs are perfect. And then it just put things into perspective. Stop being so, vain. No pun intended, And it's like,
don't be vain about your veiny legs.
Yeah. And you know what? She put me in perspective of I should be grateful. These legs carry me around. They've gotten me and she didn't even have to say it. Just her saying that her legs was perfect made me think. And I was like, to me, I would go around and I'd boost about her. I'd be like, she's the most smartest woman I ever met. She's so logical. She makes sense. I was like, I aspire to be like her, because she was a role model for me and a friend. And sadly cancer got her, and she could no longer, but she will forever ever be in my heart.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss too.
Yeah, she is pretty incredible. She lived in a log house up here.
Did she? That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, Maureen.
I love that we both shared the relationships that shaped us. Both were that honest, that hard sometimes to hear, but honest, that molds us, and we need to have that hard truth,
I think that's what we crave, is to be seen. And when someone gives that to you, it's a life changer.
And maybe that's why I'm a little bit hard now. I just, when I said that, maybe that's why, because it benefited me, and maybe you can be that way too. You might carry a piece of Maureen with you whenever somebody else says something to you, and you've helped me. I have a hand on my mirror right now where I give myself a high five because of you in the mornings.
I love it so much.
So, and that is a Maureen that kind of passed down to you, because you're you need to give yourself a confidence boost,
Yeah.
And that's what she was doing for you, and you've done that for me. So,
and I would just want to point out our new friendship for me and Amy is Amy has helped shape my life in the past 6 months that I've known her, just for teaching me certain life lessons in a way where she doesn't sugarcoat it for me. And I need that, because I don't take to sugarcoating. Just give it to me bluntly, because I deal with that better. And, you taught me some great qualities about giving and caring and taking I out of myself and putting God into the place, which I'm practicing that. So I'm getting better and better at that. I'm trying. I'm still a newborn at it. So, and
every day we're all going to be trying.
Okay, good. As long as
it's going to master it.
All right, we're trying.
Yes, we're trying.
and just all around of just being friendly and happy and outgoing, and just the encouragement that I receive from her. It's just, like I said before, she fills my love tank.
I love you. And that's what they say in recovery. We're not to hold on to it. And it's like, God is so good. Why do we want to keep that for ourselves?
Right.
We want other people to experience that goodness.
Absolutely.
And so whatever that looks like giving, if it's not always about money, sometimes the best thing we can give is our time.
Yep.
We have talents that we can give, serving. I don't know. I was listening to Joyce Meyer. I listen to her a lot. She kind of fills my tank for me and keeps me, because I do want to pour it to other people, and I want to have wisdom, when somebody's struggling, and I want to point them towards God. And she was talking about, we all have a birth date and we all have a death date, but it's that dash in between that matters the most.
Yeah.
And what does your dash look like? And so I've really been trying to focus on the dash. And that's like, even with us in this podcast, like, I'm like, let's just roll with it. We don't have to make this perfect. And it's that dash that our kids are going to one day look back and they're going to say, wow, look at Mom and look at Kat, her friend. And they were out here trying to help other people, to encourage somebody else. And we took the time out to do that. And so even if nobody else feels helped today, you helped me.
Yes.
Like, this helps me.
It does. It's therapy. And it's kind of just one of those things to just, lay it out there and just be open and unscripted. Jamie gave me a lesson on being scripted because I, perfectionist here, but I'm learning to let go of that and just let go and trust. So,
and I'm proud of you, because I know it's not. I know that's not easy. Yeah, so I'm proud of you.
I get a little tongue-tied sometimes.
You know what? Hashtag me also. Also me.
Hashtag also me.
We're working on our own hashtag, and I can't remember one of it. All right. Do we have another question?
We have 2 more questions. This one might be interesting. I'm anxious to hear. It says, have you ever gotten into trouble with a friend? What happened, and did it strengthen or weaken your bond?
Oh, trouble with a friend? Trouble with a friend. I'm trying to think. So I don't necessarily know that I've ever technically been in trouble. Like, I haven't been arrested. I don't know what trouble. I don't know, like, what the level of trouble is with that. I don't know.
I mean, like, I'm going to say trouble. Well, to me, I'm thinking trouble. Like, sure, trouble.
I have a story that I will tell about a friend who was trouble and tried to bring me into her trouble.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring me into it. Okay.
Yeah. So
I guess you say okay.
I thought I made this really prestigious type friend because she worked at the bank.
Okay.
And invited us into their life. Like, we get to come and hang out, and they had all the fun stuff. Like, they have a boat, and they had parties at their house, and they fed us, and they had horses. And so, like, getting to go over there was always fun. There was always something to do, and it was things we could do usually with the kids, like we could bring the kids, or they would invite us to go on our own to stuff. So we just thought, like, they have this awesome life. They have their stuff all together. And this looks really pretty incredible. Well, there were things happening on the backside So the parties, I guess there were drugs happening, like hard drugs,
Oh, wow.
happening around the party. Didn't really realize that. She had gotten in trouble for writing prescriptions on the side.
Wow.
Yeah. They had some things within their marriage that were happening so we didn't really know about all of these things. Like, apparently he had shot at the neighbor and had some guns taken from the house and weren't supposed to have guns, but later still did to get more guns. And so,
oh, wow.
Yeah, this was all and we were friends, invested when all of this stuff started.
Oh, you got invested?
Oh, yeah, we got invested. These were our friends.
Yeah.
Because we slowly, all of this stuff, it was hidden for we were friends that weren't always included in all of the other things.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was I didn't come to the big parties, because I would leave. I had kids. I was at home more. So I didn't really know necessarily about these things on the backside. And so by the time we find out about these things, he had gotten arrested. Okay. And she had moved out of state. So she was living in another state and he was in Sumner County. So she was coming up to our house to go and visit him so she could stay with us. And then she would go back home and whatever. So then they started using our phone to where they could three-way call each other. And we would be like in the middle of letting them and running up our phone bill and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so then it got to where, it gets better. She comes up one day and breaks him out of the jail because he got good behavior. And so he got to go and work at like some center somewhere. So while he's at this center, she busts him out.
Oh, shoot.
So then they're on the run.
Oh, nice. It sounds like a movie.
Yeah. Well, they had a baby at this time too. So they had a baby and they were on the run. Well, we did not know that they were traveling under mine and Eric's name. And Eric's ID had been missing. And while she was coming to stay, we didn't realize that she had swiped his ID because they favored.
Wow, they're like next level.
Yeah, so they had like favored Eric and him had favored a little bit. But we never like put two and two together. And then he was on America's Most Wanted. Yes.
Oh my.
We found out our phone had been tapped. Like they were listening to our conversations. The police department was. We were being investigated. We didn't even know it until all of this had taken place. And they ended up using the debit card or somewhere at a restaurant to where they ended up getting him. And so then she ended up going to jail for, is it called abating, where she helped him escape and whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so she got in trouble for that. And then he had to go to finish his time out because he was there. And then he had time to do somewhere else. So he went and finished his time there. And then he had to go to prison somewhere else. And so they were both like in jail and in prison. And then this was back in like 2005. I'm in school. Well, all of this had like freshly happened while I was at Ball State. And I had a picture of them and their little boy in my binder. And some girl in my class is like, oh, you know him, the baby. And I'm like, yeah, you know him? He's like, yeah, his mom dates my brother. And I was like, your brother? She's in jail. She's like, yeah, my brother is a trustee. I was like, oh, she's married. I was like, what? Yeah. So then I found out
on our next scam.
she was getting Happy Meals. Yeah. So they were doing shady stuff even in jail.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I don't even know how it ended for them. But Eric had told me that she had come on to him at some point while she was at our house. And it just like everything just turned really bad. And I was just like, they brought us in like our phone bill. We let them run our phone bill up so high. And it was just really, really bad. And I always still had a love for her because, like I said, we had built a friendship. They just made really bad choices on the back end of things. And it was I was blinded by it. Like I didn't, or they played it off to where it was never as serious as it was until it was serious, you know?
I think if you're running for law and stuff like that, I don't think you take anything to.
Yeah. And we were just like, what has happened? Like, what happened? Like, yeah, we're like, what? And then to know that they were traveling under our names and everything.
That's crazy that they were con artists.
Yes. And so we were like, we were taken in and she ended up passing away a few years ago. And I hated that for her because her son he's still alive. And then her husband had a son at the time. And of course, I think he's just now gotten out of prison.
That's
like lately. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and so somebody has said something about him maybe reaching out to Eric, and I'm just like, I just don't think we could do that at this point. Like, and I'm sure people change it. I know rehabilitation happens.
Maybe we should start with an amends
As
first.
we leave
Maybe
you
they should
today,
start with
remember
an
that
amends
hurt
before
people
he
hurt
reaches
people.
out.
Yeah,
That
so
healed
it's
people
just-
help people
I'm like,
and
so if
saved
you're
people
listening,
serve
you know
people.
what I'm
Go show
talking
love
about.
to everyone
I'm
in
not
your
making up
path and know
anything
that you
crazy,
too
but
are
we did
loved.
walk through that. And so it was just one of those, wow. I'm really shocked.
Yeah.
And I mean, so yeah, me and them are my friends, but I really haven't added a lot of friends until church. Like after that,
Yeah.
then at that point, I was like, I just don't know about making friends. Like that's what I'm telling you. Like friends has always been like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to make friends, and it's hard to make friends with couples.
Yeah, and I think too, just growing up in like such dysfunction that I grew up in abuse.
Yeah.
And having like such codependency, I'm like, I'm not capable of picking people out.
Yeah. I know. My husband and my daughter would always tell me, really bad judge of character.
Yeah, and then that
I'm like, what?
that like proved me wrong. I was like, yeah, no, I better like slow my roll. And then since then, I did make a friend with somebody that was a gossiper, and I thought, well, maybe I can help her get past this, but it was just so embedded, and I hated to let that friendship go. But I was like, I can still be friends, but it can't be. It's like you said, like take it or leave it.
Yeah.
You know, and like so if I see her out, I still love you.
Yeah.
But I just can't. I can't be around that. It's
I
too
don't blame you. I don't.
So
Yeah, I'm the same way about that.
yeah.
Well, I don't have like as my adult life, because I started, like you, I started with my children early in life, but I didn't get in any much trouble after I got married and had kids. It's been pretty kind of vanilla.
You need some rebel friends.
Well, you know what? Okay, you said you never been brought home in a police car or anything like that, but I have.
What you do?
Well, okay. I'm like, a city kid, and we have city kids, and most of us are, parents are absent. So we can tend to get in trouble sometimes. And my friend, Tanya at the time, I'm not saying last name, so you never find these people, but
I don't think I drop names either, so
yeah,
I try not to.
Yeah, I mean, these people, I don't think that you'll ever find them, and if you do, please send them my way because I'd like to get in contact with them again.
Yes,
but Tanya, she come over to my house one day and she's like, "Hey, you want to go out for a little bit?" And I was like, "Okay, we're just gonna walk around the block." Usually, we get a group of friends. This is my favorite thing to do, and I don't mean to get sidetracked, but every night, just before those street lights come on, we get a group of friends. There's so many kids that live on the street, we get and we play hide and seek, or we go and we play. If it's called, we had a name for it. It's called backyard fence hopping. And so we thought we were ninjas. We'd start on one corner of the street and we started somebody's backyard, and like ninjas, we'd hop over a fence. Some of them are wooden, some of them are chain link, and whatever. This is showing you the starting of going down the wrong road. Okay. But we would just like hop fences, and we would, and then one day we were up on somebody's back porch up on the second floor. I guess we shouldn't have been up there. I don't even know what we were doing up there. But the guy come out and caught us, and he's like, "I'm taking you home. Where do you guys live?" And then he's like, "Oh, you guys are a street away. We're going home. We're talking to your parents right now." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I am not." Yeah. And then so he was walking us by. It was at nighttime, and I was just looking at, this was Susan at the time, and I was like, "On the count of 3, we're gonna run. We're going to run, okay? Because we're going to get in trouble." I said, 1, 2, 3, and I bolted as fast as I could. Okay, I'm 9 years old. And I mean, I was looking out for me. I mean, I told her to run.
Yeah. She didn't?
No. And so the guy brought the cops over to my mom's house. That was the second.
Did she rat you out?
Yes.
Oh, it's like you ran, but she didn't. It's like somehow they knew who you were. She told
we were neighbors. We lived next door to each other. And then, so he brought the cops over, and it was just like, it was kind of like, keep a better eye on your kids. Well, I got in trouble for it.
Well, yeah.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Keep a better eye on me. But anyway, but the one with Tanya, it was the same thing. We were on a walk, and I don't know what happened, but I think it was a dare. She dared me. I had an apple in my hand. She's like, I dare you to throw that apple through that window. And I was like, okay. Thinking about it now just makes me cringe, and it makes my heart hurt. So this is just a little bit of an insight of how wild I was. But I was like, okay, I'll throw that apple through the window. And I did. And we ran across the street and hid. He watched the reaction. Isn't that weird?
How old were you?
Not, right about 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I think our minds are just kind of crazy anyways. And we all have that mischievousness to us.
Well, as we were watching, here's the weird thing. 2 police cruisers came. I mean, I'm talking Toronto Metro Police. I mean, that's the real deal. That's serious. And there was no way around it. It was getting dark out. We had to walk all the way down one road. We were going to go the long way home and come home, and just be nonchalant about it. And then we were going to hop a fence and go into our backyard that way, but there was no way around it, and we got busted.
Oh.
And the police officers put us in the cruiser, took me to my house, sat down and talked with me and my mother. And then he left, and then I got in so much trouble. So much trouble. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then, so yes, I did get in trouble. And yes, I was young and silly and whatever, very influenced by the neighborhood friends. But that was the one time. But I haven't been, in trouble since then, since those couple incidents. I kind of grew up a little bit.
Well, that's good. I did some really bad things. I just never got caught.
Sneaky.
Yeah. It's a wonder I didn't get killed, honestly. I did some really scary stuff.
Doesn't that make you, like, when you think about it, all your life that you went through, and you're like, man, someone's really watching out for me. God really wants me to be here, because there's been so many opportunities for abduction.
Oh, God.
Everything.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm still here.
So my mother did not care what I did. When I moved back home, it was not good. And I was 12 at that time. And then I lived with my cousin and my aunt and uncle for like almost a year. So when I went back home, I was almost 14. So at that time, my mother let me smoke. She didn't care. She was smoking pot herself. She didn't care if I smoked pot. I started having sex at 14. Oh, wow. I was sneaking out the window at friends' houses and sneaking out with them.
Oh, I've done that.
We got in a van one time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of us girls. And there were 2 guys driving this van. And there was no handle on the inside of the van.
You guys were about to get kidnapped.
And there was a screwdriver thing in the front. So I was like, oh, that must be for this door. Well, once we realized we couldn't get out, we were like, we've got to pee. Let us out. And we ended up having to run and run into some woods to get away from them. They were chasing in through the woods with flashlights.
They were chasing you?
Yes. They were
kidnapping you.
They probably were.
Oh my God.
We got away. But I mean, that's just one terrible thing. I did terrible stuff when I was a kid. It's crazy. And when I was a kid, I was a kid, but I started smoking, like I said, when I was 14. A girl named Boom Boom showed me how to smoke.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I was smoking Pall Malls. They don't have filters on it. It was hardcore. Me and Boom Boom with our Pall Malls. So,
I mean, I really think it's incredible.
Yes. But I mean, if your parents don't care what you do, then why,
Yeah.
Why would I care what I do? And in some part of that, it's really, I think kids think they want their freedom and they don't want people to care. But let me just say, it feels real crappy to not have anybody care what you do.
I know.
I think there's almost nothing worse than just having nobody to care for you or about you, And so, of course, I was self-destructive. And like I said, it's a wonder I didn't get killed. God has definitely had his hand upon me. I tried to kill my own self several times. So I don't know what my purpose is, but there is a purpose for me.
I think you're listening.
So yeah, I think so.
I think you're in it. You're helping people, and I think that's what the gift is when you come out of survival like that.
Yeah,
is that you can help people like you, and I think that's the purpose.
It's just crazy if I look back and look at how disruptive and just damaging other people were to me in my life, but on the flip side of it, how damaging I was to myself. It's really heartbreaking when, maybe I'll talk about this one day, but when you, as a parent, see how much you love your kids, but I never felt that anyone loved me. And it was just a year ago, I think last year in October, when I went to WADS, which is Battle of the Sexes, our church has for the youth. I escaped and I went into seclusion by myself into the woods. And it was like I had a moment where God, I felt his love for me the way that my kids, I hope, feel the love that I have for them. And I was very ashamed and just embarrassed that I didn't see myself as loved or valuable enough. And it just broke my heart that I tried to take my life 3 times in the past because I felt like that broke God's heart. So I think when it says we have hearts that hurt for others and break for others, I feel like I do have a heart that breaks for others just because I know that I just know thank you. I just know what it absolutely feels like to be alone. And even though maybe I haven't necessarily been alone, I have felt so alone in my life. But I wasn't alone, but I just didn't feel God in my life. And so now that I feel it and I have it, I've just been ashamed and I've walked through that. And I know that he's forgiven me, but I've had to forgive myself. So
thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. It's hard sometimes, not to only just be a good friend to other people, but to be a good friend to yourself. So we have to start there, I think, sometimes.
That's the high five to yourself.
Yeah. I need that high five.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I don't even know where or why I went there, but.
Hey, I'm glad you did.
Yeah. So.
Well, we got one final question.
Okay.
All right. It says, do you think friendships should be approached like romantic relationships with care, effort, and mutual respect? Why and why not?
Okay, this is where I laugh loud. What did you say? Okay, so first of all, when you're 16 and with your husband, I don't know, what is it, respect? Yeah. What is that?
I know.
What's the other ones?
With care, effort, mutual respect.
Okay, yeah, no, none of that for me. I don't even know what those things mean. My husband was an escape for me. He was an escape from my house.
I get it.
Yeah, I moved out of a house to where they were ghosting me. They were calling me names. Every room I would walk into, I felt alone and I felt hated at my own house. And so when I met Eric, he had his own house. And he had his own problems, but the problems he had or the way he treated me might not have been the greatest, but it was better than what I was going home to. So, and he, for some reason, needed relationship too. His mom had kicked him out of her house when he was 18, and he just needed and wanted someone to love him. So together, we just were 2 dysfunctional hot messes, and it was a hot crap show, and it has been a hot crap show for a long time. So I don't even know any of those things that you just said.
Do you think friendship should be approached like a romantic relationship nowadays?
I still don't even know what we don't have romance.
Okay.
So, I mean, but if you think about it, like I married an addict. He's just now getting a 90-day chip. I mean, it's been like a roller coaster ride. And so, where is romance in all of that?
Well, what you did for me is really romantic. So yes, I understand what the question means. It's just like it's like a romantic relationship. I know that you started.
Well, this is because you have this different romance. You
bought me flowers today. Come on.
I do love you.
You went and picked them yourself.
I like to love other people the way I love you is the way I
romantic and charming.
Okay.
I mean, female relationships can be romantic to a sense. Like,
okay.
You can treat it just like a romantic relationship where you take the time, you go with the dates, you do the coffee dates, the lunches, you share your heart, you share your laughter, you put your energy in it,
So yes,
it's kind of like a romantic.
Okay, I will say yes. We date. I guess our friends.
Yes,
we give them our time.
Absolutely date our friends.
And I would think in your romantic, you're enjoying that time that you're having with somebody.
It's not really romantic as to say more intimate.
Okay, intimate.
Because the reason why I say that is even we were at a public restaurant and we were having a heart-to-heart. It was like we were in a bubble.
Oh, our lesbian counter.
We were in a booth in the corner of a busy restaurant. We were gazing into each other's eyes. She was holding my hand and I was crying. And we were there for 45 minutes.
And this guy just gave us the weirdest look. And I said, he thinks we're lovers.
So, and I was just but it was very intimate, very authentic, and very pure.
It was.
And I feel like romantic or not romantic, I feel like that is the number one quality of, a friendship.
Yeah. I love that you helped me to see it in that way because I haven't really thought about it. But I just feel like personally, I'm able to just now in the past 2 to 3 years have an intimate relationship with Jesus.
Yes.
And so until I've been able to, for me, it's been a lack of trust. I'm not able to be intimate because I have had a lacking of trust. Like that's been a wall, that I've had up.
It's also
trust. Faith is trust, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Surrendering. And
yes.
Yep.
And so for me, it's like, how am I supposed to have that with God when everybody in the physical has hurt me? And it's hard for me not to compare God to people because I can tangibly have these relationships with other people. And how am I supposed to elevate God above everybody else? Even the best person's still crappy, because we're all imperfect. And I just couldn't wrap my head around that. But it was because I realized I had so many deep hurts and trust issues that I wasn't willing to surrender and let those things go and truly walk into you before me.
Yeah.
And just allowing him to lead me. And I'm still honestly probably have work to do in that area, but sorry, I'm getting over pneumonia. But just it is intimacy. They said at Celebrate Recovery one night, into you I see, into me I see. Intimacy is like looking at God through my eyes, but also allowing him to look back at me through my eyes. And it was like you were saying earlier, like your eyes are the window into your soul. And I've just been so busy, in my life, trying to avoid all of those things because I don't want God to really see that part of me, that I've been trying to hide or hold on to or not let go of because it's safety. And it's weird that my lack of trust is safety to me, but it has been.
Yeah.
And so I've just been like trying to start with like small steps of faith and walking into trusting God. And honestly, and I'm not saying like that I am the most peaceful person in the world, but I can tell you right now, I am 90% more peaceful within myself than I was a year ago.
Amazing.
Like 90%. I just don't worry about stuff like I used to.
Yeah, it's silly. Because
It's hard though. Like it's hard to even tell somebody. People tell me like, you just gotta have peace. Well, okay,
can you show me or tell me how to do that?
Yes. Like I want it, but I didn't know how to get it or what's preventing it. Like, how do I get that peace? How do I walk into it? You know, and so for me, it was trust. It's been trust.
It's trust, yeah.
Yeah.
Trust is a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You got to let it go.
Yes.
It's like the great recording artist, NF says, if you want trust, you got to learn to give some away.
Oh, I like that. And I think too, like you said a few weeks ago, maybe even in a podcast, or you told me, I know from one day, you said, I walk with a skip. And I think it's because I'm wider. Like I'm like carrying around so much stuff.
I know your shoulders feel lighter.
Yeah.
I feel like you're almost like gliding through life.
Yes. I'm like,
It's a different feeling when you...
It's a lot better being me these days. You know, I haven't always liked being me.
It takes work to find peace. And if you guys ever want us to do like a podcast on how we found our peace, because I know it's not easy to find. It's a hidden treasure. But when you're willing to step into that and change and just go against the grain, I feel like, you know, it lifts a big weight off your shoulder and definitely makes you lighter. It relaxes your face. I don't know if you ever feel like your face is tense, you know, all the time.
Yeah.
My face always felt tense all the time.
I used to be tense.
Yeah.
I was a tense person.
And it changes your face, the way it looks. Always
RBF.
Yeah, kind of.
RBF.
But when you find the peace, it's all of a sudden your face feels relaxed.
Yeah, people tell me like you're not approachable. You used to not be approachable.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, I mean, and I didn't think I was that way, but I had walls up, and I'm just, everybody's terrible. But I was also, I've been living in my own hell.
Yeah, I guess.
Like it was, and I did a great job of making it like with a smile.
Your own personal prison.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like I'm in a cage, and the crazy thing is I had the key the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just too afraid to unlock it. Like, what does it look like when I come out and am I safe? Like, I've been here for so long. This is like my safety cage. Oh, that's good. We'll have to talk about that sometime.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
I'm like sitting here thinking of like the ideas of,
yeah. I've always said that, like I've been caged, like I've lived caged, trapped was my thing.
I never realized I was living in survival mode until like 3 years ago.
What's really, really weird is there was a sign that my grandmother had on my wall. I had my own bedroom there because I went every other weekend.
Yeah.
And I had drew this like a teapot. And on it, I wrote, help, help, I'm stuck in a teapot. And I saw that one day. And I was like,
that's incredible. Oh, wait, and you wrote that?
Yeah, when I was a kid, like 10 years old.
That's.
I was like 10 or 11, and I saw it behind me one day. And I remembered that, but it never stuck out to me. Like I've always thought like if I had a book, maybe I would call it Help, Help, I'm Stuck in a Teapot.
I think you're very poetic.
Just because, but to be that young, and now I look back and I'm like, I was trapped and I felt trapped. And that was a sign that I don't even think anybody else knew how significant that me writing that on that teapot was. Oh, but that's how miserable I was, even at the age of like 10 and 11.
That's like, that you found that within you to write it in such a poetic way.
It really is heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It's sad.
Yeah. I have a hard time looking back at my childhood pictures and feeling like, even though I'm cute, like I was so cute. I'm like, oh, I was such a pretty little girl.
Yeah.
And I was smiling, and I'm like, to have to smile behind all of that, it's just very sad. It makes me sad for that little girl. But I'm trying to treat her well now. And I'm trying to let her play and have fun.
She smiles authentically all the time.
Yes. So I'm trying to love on her a lot better. And Mindy is a dear friend of mine. And she's also an iron sharpens iron girl in my life. And we read the Bible every day together and we pray every day together. And she really speaks power. I'm going to cry again. And life into me loving. She calls it little girl Amy.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So, but it's really been hard to, as an adult, to look back and not see pictures, and I really don't have a lot of good memories as a child. And I try to think about them. I have some, but there's just not a lot, and the things that I'm like, oh, that was a good memory. I'm like, I was playing on a rock. It's like,
it doesn't take much to make you happy.
Oh my God. But yeah, that was, yes, I'm sorry. I'm very emotional. This is like, welcome to hormones.
No, I mean, it's a very touchy subject. And I mean, we're unpacking as we're doing this podcast, we're unpacking our dirty baggage, or not dirty baggage, but our heavy luggage.
Yeah. Do you have a picture of you as a little girl?
I don't have very many.
You should find one, and we could do like a picture of us on a clip art one on a show of us as little girls.
Okay.
I would love for us to be able to like put those together somehow.
That's a cute idea.
Isn't that cute?
I got some pictures of me I can find.
We can call that episode like Through the Looking Glass or something.
I like that.
Isn't that cute?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, sweet. You're so creative, and she's got so many great ideas.
Well, we'll just see if I can only remember them.
I know.
Brain fog.
You gotta constantly have a notepad with you.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, did you answer that, or I don't know?
I kind of answered it when we both answered it. I do care. I like the dating aspect of it, and they say, it's about proximity. Me and Amy know each other through church and through the gym, and that's how we started to build a friendship. 50 hours just to be an acquaintance. And then it's like, what
are they saying? That's how long it takes before you?
Yeah. Let me just read these to you really quickly. So 50 hours to become an acquaintance. So these are the people that you see in proximity, where you go and you're like at the coffee shop or at the bank or whatever, the post office. Those are your proximity. You say, hi, how are you? Whatever. And then 50 hours to become an acquaintance.
Okay.
Is just short. 200 hours to develop a friendship.
Really?
We've already exceeded that.
Have we? Are you keeping count?
No, I'm pretty sure that we're getting pretty close. So I'm like scared what 200 hours would bring for us. Probably like the ultimate friendship.
Awesome.
It's crazy.
It's so awesome.
It's crazy. So yeah, that's timing, and then the energy, of course, is all about, what you put into it and how you're left after you leave that person. Do you feel good about yourself, or do you feel more stressed? Do you feel like you're giving too much or not giving enough? That's the energy that we're talking about.
Well, I think too, when you're becoming an acquaintance with somebody, in that time that you're becoming the acquaintance before it moves into the friendship,
yeah,
it kind of lets you know, like,
that's the learning area.
In dating, it's a give and take, right?
Yes.
I'm going to give, you're going to take, but also you need to give so that you can take. Like, we both need to take turns, and it needs to be something that we're both putting in and taking out of as well. And I feel like we kind of get that sense or that vibe from people as we're learning them and doing. And then at this point in our life, we're like, this isn't going to work for me, because this is going to either drain me, because I'm the only one giving and I'm not getting what I need. So almost it's like a mature thing, like you said, like in our growth, we kind of know like, this is what I want. And as much as we might want something to work out, it's okay if it doesn't.
Yeah. And that could also tie into timing. It's just not the right time.
Yeah.
And the energy might not be right. But it doesn't mean like later on in life that the energy won't be right then.
Yeah.
And because life changes, people change and they're on different. So you never make enemies, and nobody, even if you lose touch with friends and you don't speak to them for a while, they don't become enemies. It's just that they're in different stages of their life. And if you don't keep in touch, it just happens, But
and as we go deeper, knowing somebody, their story, their past, we have a better understanding of who they are.
Yeah.
And then that allows us to layer, like we're all people. Like I think of people as onions. There's layers to us, and we just have to
easy donkey,
like keep peeling them back.
Onions have layers.
Onions.
Have you seen Shrek?
No.
This is a whole conversation between Shrek and Donkey.
Well, I was writing my testimony.
Her face has layers.
I was writing my testimony, and I almost put about an onion in it because we are like, and peeling back an onion is not something necessarily that we want to do.
Yeah, it's
hard.
smelly. It makes you cry.
Yes, and sometimes it hurts.
But when you get down to it and you put that onion in your dish, it's flavorful.
Yes.
So,
I mean, but there's layers to it, and as we take it and peel it back,
I love it.
And that's how people are, and it's just more, like the deeper we go.
You're not going to believe me, but I also tell Anthony onions have like all the time.
They do.
And so me and Amy share a lot of things in common that are just surprise me. Even like our favorite song, by Meatloaf.
That's not like you went to music because I was thinking how we both chewed on wax.
Oh yeah, because we couldn't afford bubble gum.
Yeah, no, we're like, okay.
My mom would go scrape it off the tree for me. I mean, in Canada, I guess we had gum growing on trees, but
really, you were in tree sap, maybe
it's something, or maybe maple syrup. I don't know. But anyway, conclusion. It's as adults. I know it's hard for us to make friends, and some of our best friends we haven't even met yet. So, and if you're having a hard time making friends, I know, like for me, like if I go in and I see my barista or I go to the post office or whatever, I'll always try to make eye contact. Sometimes people look at me like, why is this woman looking deep into my soul? I'm channeling you. But it's like give them a compliment. Let them know that they're seen, because you might be the only person that day that might make them be seen, and give them a nice compliment. Say, hey, I like your hair. It's cool. Oh yeah, I like the way you write that, or I like the way you said that. That's very interesting. Just a little small thing can go a long way in their day, and then it'll just start learning the names of all the people of all the places you visit regularly. Just saying, like, calling people by their first name just means like so much to a person. Like I like, someone that I just meet and then they call me Kat again. I'm like, oh wow, they really took the time to know me, Yeah.
That's really good. I stopped and told the guy at Walmart when I was there last time who was doing the floors, I said, thank you for doing those floors. I said, you were doing such a good job. And he stopped and he said, really? And I said, yes. I said, you're keeping the store safe and clean so that we don't fall and trip over stuff, and it looks good in here. I said, and your job matters, and thank you for doing it. And he said, that has made my day. He was like, thank you so much for telling me that. And it was just one of those things. It's like people don't necessarily want to clean the bathroom, but they're doing a job to put food on the table for their family. No one person is better than another person, and shame on us if we ever treat people like that.
Oh yeah.
And so I have started to look for the things that I'm like, I'm thankful I don't have to do that, and then I compliment those people that are.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So, and it means something to people because they feel like they're doing a job that is degrading. Even Jesus washed feet as a reminder for us to be humble. And so I just try to never feel like I never want to feel like I'm elevated, to anyone. And I used to be so guilty. We'll have to talk about elevation.
Oh gosh, yeah. Self-righteousness.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want that's an ugly subject to talk about.
Yes,
but it's true.
I have enjoyed today, and I feel like this friendship topic is it's going to be so important even as we talk about recovery too.
Yes.
Because Jesus wants us in community. We don't necessarily have to be best friends with everyone.
No, but we can be nice to everyone.
Yes, and we do need other people. And it's not just always what we can give, but what we need.
Yes.
And if we stay in isolation, we don't get it either.
Yeah.
We don't fill our purpose. We don't get to help fill other people's cups, but we're not getting our cup filled either.
That's true.
So don't stay in isolation. It is not.
No, we need
community.
We need community and we need sisterhood. It's very important. We need to stick together and inspire each other, and that's what makes life worth living. So, with Amy talking about complimenting a stranger, I want, like always, I like to give everybody a task for the week.
Yes.
So, my task for everybody that's listening, including Amy and myself,
Okay.
I would like you guys to compliment 5 people this week.
Okay.
5 people.
It's kind of awkward. I know you think it's easy, but for me, I'm just like, I'll smile at people.
But wasn't it awkward to high five yourself and look yourself in the eye the first time too?
It is. Yes, it is. Okay.
So once you make awkward a regular, it becomes normal.
Okay. I'm going to take a couple.
It just has to be anything simple, like, hey, I like your hair. I like your coat. Oh, that color looks good on you.
And then after you do it, we want you to share with us how that went.
And how it felt, and then the reaction.
Yes.
And we look forward. And then I think what we're going to do eventually is once we get the podcast going and we hear back from your comments, we might do a live show where you guys can actually write us messages and we can answer them live.
That would be so fun.
So just stay tuned. We got lots of great, interesting things coming and lots of topics. I don't think we're ever going to run out of ideas to talk about. I think we just like to talk.
We do. That's why it's called Talk on the Walls.
Yes. Well, we love you guys, and we just want you to know, in case nobody's told you today, that we love you and we care about you.
As we leave you today, remember that hurt people, that heal people, help people, and save people, serve people. Go show love to everyone in your path and know that you too are loved and you are not alone. #AlsoMe.